Welcome to another episode of the Waka So Far, and today I have Isah The Prince. Isah is my guy. Isah has always supported me since I've started Waka So Far. Isah is a beautiful rapper. I met Isah in not be now Abuja or Benz. I don't know what it was Benz. Yeah, when I came to Benz, I met Isah. Lo and behold, we met again in Abuja. But Isah is one guy that steady will check up in NYSC. I remember NYSC, Abuja. Isah will call me, voice before, come through. Once I will go Isah yard. I think I've been to your yard when your studio was at the back.
Yes.
And Isah will just check up on me, even when we Waka So Far, like, how's it going? So Isah, welcome to the show. Isah, I'll let you introduce yourself, because nobody knows you better than yourself, but I'll let you introduce yourself and then I'll fire down with the questions.
Okay, it's calm, man. Thanks for having me on here, by the way. Like you said, I've been following the show so far and everything. So yeah, keep it up, man. Just keep expanding.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, so I'm Isah The Prince. I'm a musician, I'm a rapper, I'm a community builder, I'm a creative strategist, and a cultural organizer. Yes, I'm from Sokoto, but I was born and I was we met in Brems when I was like schooling. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Because I can't start this question without asking you about this, because in your music you rap about this, but also your Instagram you showcase Momsy support. Isah, first question, what does your Momsy support mean to you? Like, the way you give her flowers and the way you talk about Momsy, it talks about it like, man, this is my friend, more than this is my Momsy. Like, this is the relationship there. It's like, man, that's my friend. Like, and I've gone back to listen to the 2 albums, but also the Mother's Choice, like the call at the end even shows that, but also what you showcase on Instagram. But what does your Momsy support mean to you and like your relationship?
In all honesty, it was the foundation of all of this. Like, it was the foundation of probably my love for music. Like I said, like I grew up in Lagos, and I'm sure this happens a lot. Like, a lot of our parents or a lot of our fathers, they were mainly at work and stuff. They were just hustling. So I think most of us gravitate to our moms more. And from like such an early age, like, she had this love for music. And I remember she had like this red Honda where she used to drop us off at school, and she used to like play like the classics like Shade and Marvin Gaye and stuff. And that's where my first encounter and my love for music came. So like, fast forward, like, I think when I was like 16 or something, and I'm like, oh, I want to do music. She's like, go and do it. Just get your degree first. Make sure you get your degree first. You can go ahead, do music. And my mom is the sort of person, like, if I said I wanted to be a carpenter or a plumber, she would have gotten me like pipes, and she would have gotten me hammer and stuff.
Yeah.
So she has been extremely supportive. And yeah, like, more than like being a mother, like, at times she can be a friend. But you know, the relationship between like Nigerian parents and the authority people is always the main thing. So yeah, like, she has been extremely supportive, and that's one of my biggest like motivations, is like, oh, I have to see this thing through, so that she can see the possibility of what I've been doing all along. And I think just her support alone gave me the confidence to pursue it. Like, so even if like some of my friends don't necessarily like, they're like, oh, guy, Isah, you can do anything. Like, you're intelligent, you can go and get 95, you can do finance, you can do this. Just because of the fact that I had her support. It's like, I really don't care about you guys. I have the blessing of my parents. Like, so that's like the most important thing for me. And it's interesting that you noticed it.
No. Guy, you showcase it, and why it's hard to miss. Like, it's literally hard to miss. And just in your raps, it is clear, like, it is there. Like, and again, that call at the end where she was like, I support you as far as this makes you happy. Like, this is your own happiness. Also in family affairs where you dey rap about Momsy, it's just like the way like it's like Momsy, you have shown me love, but also like your own what you wish for Momsy as well, like as a friend, as a person. So it's beautiful to see. And I think you answered it because the next question I was going to ask was when did you fall in love with music? And at least I'm happy to know that it was inside the red car listening to classics.
Yeah.
But it's like in the journey, like when did it hit you? Like apart from in the car, like when did the moment hit you and say, man, this music thing, I'm going to chase it. Like I'm going to chase it with all my being. Like when did it like say like man nothing else? Because I know that you still obviously you went to Aston, obviously rapping, performing, but when did it hit you like I'm going to chase this music thing full time? It's not what I do for hobby, it's my full time. This is
My
me.
food. Yeah. It happened in different moments. It happened in different moments. Like I said, from the time I initially fell in love with it was from that young age.
Yeah.
Fast forward to listening to, I'm the last child, so I pretty much picked up on all my siblings' music, like all their different varieties of music. I soaked it all in. Um, and I think when I was 16, there was a time when I was 16, like I when I was in secondary school, maybe like 14, 15, I actually saw that it was possible. Like people were recording music on their laptop. So I saw it was possible. And there was a time like I can't remember, I was in the car with my brothers and something, and they were like, oh, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I want to be a rapper. But that time it wasn't, I just said it out of like
Yeah.
a knowing. I didn't know that I was fully going to pursue it. So it probably took me another like 7 years, like going through uni, like you can see everybody going on their path, like people saying they want to go and work for this, they want to go and work for this. Like
Yeah.
I knew that I had a love for this thing, and I knew that this is what feeds my soul. But when I actually got my first degree, um, I came back to Nigeria, and I'd pretty much gotten like an offer to do my master's.
Yeah.
So during that summer, like I was like, okay, I just realized I did this internship at a bank. Like that's the only job I've actually done. I did this like, and I got hold of this book called Mastery, like by Robert Greene, and I read it through the internship period, and it's pretty much about following your calling, like following
Yeah.
your natural inclination. And I realized like, oh, this music thing is my natural inclination. Um, so after I finished that, like I just realized that okay, I'm going to go back and do a master's. I'm not ready for 9 yet. So I think it was during that master's year, I actually like got the software for recording, got a mic, got the equipment, and I pretty much started the process of like recording myself. And I was just like, okay, this is what I want to do. Like this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Uh, Thanks. I'll go and check out the book Mastery. Because for me, the book that got me, I was like, was The Alchemist. I don't know if you have read The Alchemist.
Yes, yes, I read that around that time as well.
And it was like, bruh, what am I doing? Like, at least
Yeah,
try. Like, chase your personal dream. And
I,
and there's something you have been you push a lot on your Instagram. And I don't know whether you do it, you've been doing it for time, but also we'll talk about it because you do it in this album, is the self-awareness. You were now a lot you in your caption, you always write stuff like, yeah, appreciating the little wins, you're appreciating the journey more than the manifestation, because this is where the beauty is. But for me, it was The Alchemist, and it was just like the amount of times the guy fell down and got back up, I was just like, guy, you might as well just follow your passion. Like, even if it takes
yeah,
me 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, let it be that
yes.
when I go, at least I followed my passion and I did it to the best of my ability.
That was actually one of the first books I read was The Alchemist, and it had the same impact on me. And I found it interesting that at the end, like he finished chasing the dream, but he realized that the dream was at his backyard.
Do you
So
get?
it's like the dream always leads you back to yourself. Like it always leads you back to your truest self.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm about that book here.
Yeah. Same. I remember, so me, I listened to the audiobook and I was driving to work one day in Nige. And after I finished the book, man, I couldn't just, when you have seen something, you can't unsee it. It's like, man, I can't unsee it. I've already, let me, ah. And then it's like your body of work, like you have been very, let's just even use you have two albums, Purple Heart 2019, New Black Elite 2021. But Isah, between them, you have three other bodies of work in between.
Yeah.
So yeah, that means your catalog is wide. But Isah, from an outside perspective, and I'll give my outside perspective after you. But how's your evolution in music been like from 2019? How has your music changed? Or if you say it hasn't changed, how's it? But I believe there has been an elevation, like evolution in your music, like it's clear.
Yeah.
But from 2019, one thing I told you before the call was your showmanship, like the way you used to carry events, the way you used to get it out there, the launches, the music videos, your way of art, even the way you dress, beautiful. But I just want to understand your evolution in music, like from Purple Heart to New Black Elite. Like, what has been the changes? What do you rap? What has your rap changed like? Like, for me, I would say in New Black Elite, you sound very, there's that self-awareness, like there's that self-reflection, very more internal focus on like oneself and just different perspective of life. It's like no man is better than any man. And I can't remember the line now, and please remind me. There's a line you say at the end of most tracks, the first four tracks. What's the line? There's a line you said.
I'm part of the problem, right? I'm part
Yes.
of the problem.
Yes, yes. So I just want to understand your evolution in music. How, between the two albums.
It's there's a clear evolution. Like you're definitely right about that. Like obviously, if I'm stagnant, like then there will be a problem. Like if I'm still position, that's when I'll be scared of, oh, is this thing really for me? But I think the evolution comes as a result of how I'm evolving as a human being first. Because there's this quote that I learned from Quincy Jones. He's like, your music, and I think he applies for everything in general, but he was talking specifically about music. Like your music cannot be more or less of who you are than a human being.
Mm-hmm.
So I always had like that intuitive awareness that for me to get better in music, I have to keep on evolving as a human being. Yeah. I can't afford to think the same way I thought yesterday. Yes, alone, like think the same way I thought 2 years ago. And the space between Purple Heart and New Black Elite was about 2 years.
Yeah.
And constantly, I'm a very self-reflective and self-analyzing person. So I always have to check in, like, okay, what am I trying to do right now, or what's my goal, like, and how does it tie into my overall purpose? So I think the turning point between New Black Elite and Purple Heart was that NSAS period. It was pretty much that NSAS period. Like I was just observing, and I was like, "You, what's going on?" Like as it's not only as me as a person, it was more like as a society, as a collective, as Black people. Like what's happening with us, and it was pretty much figuring out. In all honesty, I didn't grow up the most like Afrocentric person. Like I grew up on MTV, I grew up on Disney Channel, I grew up on Cartoon Network, I grew up on the West. Like I was indoctrinated by the West media.
Yeah.
So I think this was the first time, like living in Nigeria for the last few years, like it's like I was really connecting to myself as an African and trying to figure out who am I as an African. And I think that was the evolution between Purple Heart and New Black Elite. It's figuring out that, okay, I can't escape being African. Yeah. What does being African mean to me? And how can I play my little role in forming an identity and reimagining our world as Africans? And I think that's where the concept of, okay, I'm the problem came from, and figuring out, okay, how can I be the solution? Because initially, like, it started from a place of, okay, like the problem is from colonization. Then I now have to realize, like, oh, the problem is actually not from colonization. The problem is from the individual self. So yeah, that's the evolution, taking the focus from not only myself, but applying it to the world and bringing it back to myself. That's the evolution, and I think that's the journey that project has set me off on.
Yeah, it was clear because, and again, guys, I should have done this interview a long time ago because Issa brought out New Black Elite in 2021. But then me myself, I was on a recording break. So, but I always knew that I wanted to talk to Issa. But Issa, yeah, it was very clear. Like throughout the album, you were very aware of oneself. And there was a line you said in, because I listened to it again, like with a fresh perspective. And I believe it's Promised Land. I believe it's Promised Land. I believe it is Promised Land. But because I listened to it again and I was like, you were saying that instead of us, this same thing you just said, instead of us focusing on the outside, focus on the inside. And by the time you start making those changes, like you were rapping about it and you said it will then come out and reflect in who you are as a person and what you do as a person. Like it all starts from the inside. So you could just see the growth, and it was just like, man, this guy is talking about, like, there's that self-awareness, but also that self-reflection that he's looking at that perspective of it all starts with we as people, like me, myself, if I make that change, is a ripple effect. It's not just, it starts from one person and then it spreads out. And then Issa,
Yes, yes.
your style is incredible. When it comes to your fashion, your style is incredible. Issa, do you have
Thank
a team
you.
behind you, or is it something that, like Kanye, you have an eye for this thing already? Like, because your style is incredible. Like for Purple Hearts, and every time you see Issa is rocking something purple, you show him love on Insta. He's responding with his Purple Hearts, literally. But Issa's style is, let me find Issa's ground for you guys quick, for those who are watching, so that you see Issa's style, please. And then Issa went for New Black Elite. I saw someone's comment where someone said, well, you should change your name from Isah The Prince to Isah The King, because because that, yeah, I think I found the one. So just look at this. So Issa, do you have like a team behind you, or you already know what you want your style to be?
um I think it's both. Like a lot of it starts from me. Like a lot of it starts from I know what I want. Like I think just in general in life, like I'm aware of what I want. I'm aware of my desire. Then I have a solid group of people that I always bring in on the vision, and they help me execute in the places that maybe I may not have time to execute, or it may not be my biggest strength. So, but all in all, the vision comes from, I would say, from God to me, and yeah, then I share it with everyone around me.
It's beautiful and it stands out. And it's
So,
on
thank you.
fashion, music and fashion goes hand in hand. And for New Black Elite, Issa released a lot of collections, like the t-shirts, the different collections. There was Shiba. I like Shiba. And even the what you're wearing now is from the collection. How did you do
Yeah.
that, man? I want to enter that fashion line of it. Like I want to music and fashion go line. Were you just doing it to promote the album, or because again, I know that from what I've seen, you love fashion. How did the music and the fashion, like now that you're entering the fashion space with this, how
Yeah.
did how did you get into it?
Mm, I'll say like I've always been like interested in fashion from like a young age, like just putting clothes together and stuff. So it's one of my goals. Like I really want to like have a fashion line that's beyond me, like beyond New Black Edit. Like I actually want to have a store that actually covers all aspects of the value chain of fashion.
Yeah.
That's like from maybe like pick, and I'm just putting this out so that the universe will figure it out.
You
But
go.
like
My lips to God's ears.
but like pretty much from the aspect of like picking the cotton or whatever the raw materials to the place of having a store, like ideally like something like H&M, like that's actually one of my visions. So but this was just like a almost like a seed. This was like the first time I'm like, okay, let me plant the seed. And this was the best project because when I conceptualized the project of New Black Elite, it was meant to be a multi-dimensional experience. It wasn't limited to music. Music is the foundation because obviously I'm a musician and I'm a
Yeah.
rapper. But like I wanted it to branch out to fashion. I wanted it to branch out to film. I wanted to express the totality of the vision that I had for New Black Elite through these different creative mediums. And fashion just happened to be a no-brainer. And that's how I pretty much came up with the ideas and the collections for it. Yeah.
This is beautiful, and because obviously New Black Elite, the theme, you have like the Egyptian feel. So, and I love that the fact. And again, from our lips to God's ears, I pray when the fashion line opens, we'll be there to support my brother.
Amen.
And I beg, could you talk us through the Toku Toku grants that you won? What was that journey like? What was that process like? And as you said, you're very now big and that aware of giving back to the community from apart from the music scene of it. How did the whole, like, where did you hear about the grant, and like what stuff or what work are you doing to give back?
How did I hear about it? I can't remember exactly how I heard about it, or maybe someone sent it. Someone within my community might have sent it to me or something. And I was just like, okay, what we're doing with New Black Elite, like we've actually created opportunities for people. Like you've done something cool, so let's see how that goes. And they loved the idea. They were inspired by the idea, and they supported the idea because, in all honesty, like a lot of the investments into my music and my creative endeavors have been personal funding.
Yeah.
But luckily, I've had the chance to. I think I've won about two awards now that came with a grant, and that was the first one. The Toku Toku one was one of the first one. And in terms of giving back, like a lot of the time when I'm going on these journeys, like okay, releasing an album, putting on events, it's really not about me. Like I have a community. Like my goal is to grow Abuja's creative industry.
Yeah.
You get, like, I want it to pretty much rival Lagos. Like I believe that Abuja can be the creative capital of Africa in a way that, like, Abuja is the center of unity. And what does the center of unity mean? It means like, okay, Abuja is a center of unity for faith.
Yeah.
And what's the best way to unify our faith? Through creativity. Like both Christians and Muslims, you find them club jamming to the same song. You find them clubs jamming to Davido's Timeless, and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, my evolution has come to the point like, okay, I'm not just doing this for myself. Initially, it might have been for myself, but the more I've grown into it, and the more little wins and little successes I get, like I realize, okay, I have to find a way to take this back to the community. Oh, how can to invest in other people's creative endeavors that can possibly change Nigeria or change Africa or the world. So I think, and the best way I've seen that can happen is through community. And that's why, like, I have a creative community that I co-founded, which is Creative Culture CC Abuja. And that's what we do. We bring opportunities to creatives.
It's beautiful. And from a friend, a brother, and a fan, it's just, I appreciate it, and I like where your mind is at. Like when you speak, is like you're very, very intentional now of the journey and appreciating it, and those little, as you said, those little wins of how am I improving the next person beside me? How are we moving up together? Like how are we expanding?
Exactly.
So I'm happy to see it. And Isah, because we said about our love for God, you mentioned, Isah, what's one quote? It can be, what's a quote or something that you hold on that follows you when you move in this space, like, or in life? What's something that you hold on that you can share and somebody else can use it in their own life?
I think one major thing, I think it was funny enough, it was a scripture during that master's year I was telling you about.
Yeah.
It was like a scripture that, like, actually set me off on the journey, like that gave me the confidence to go on the journey regardless of the uncertainty or not knowing how it pans out. And I think it was, do not conform to the patterns of this world. but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Something like that. I might be paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But I think that's one thing that has served as the anchor. Is like I constantly have to observe and look at the world. Like, okay, everything I see through my eyes might not be real. Like, nothing is absolute.
Yeah.
Nothing is absolute. So I have to keep on inquiring for truth as much as possible. And funny enough, I feel like that's what music has done for me from a very young age. It has given me the gateway to search for truth. Like, because everything that I think I learned is always get towards, oh, how can I rap about this? Like, in a weird way, like how can I form a lyric out of this? How can I so everything I'm engaging with, like I'm looking for the values and the principle, and I can rap about that can be valuable to the next person. And all of that started from that scripture: do not conform to the pattern of this world. I think it's like Matthew something. I can't remember the exact scripture, but it's Matthew something. Yeah.
It's a bit, and I like that again, because for me, like, God has given us these talents, and yours is rap music. Mine might be talking to people and sharing stories. It's God has given us these talents, and I want to give it back to Him. Like, the reason why I do this, and I think it's amazing that your source and your engine, your fuel is powered by Christ. Like, do you get what I mean? Like, you know what you're doing. You're not just, and I'm not saying people should not rap, but I love that your source and your engine is God.
And it's also like it's also been like a process as well. Like initially, like when you decide, like, or when I decided, oh, I want to do music, it may not be with the purest intentions. It may have been like, okay, I want to have the baddest bass. I want to have like the whip. I want to like get it pretty much for the glitz and the glamour. But the beautiful thing about, like, when you're on a journey, yeah, you constantly checking with yourself. Like I said, like being self-reflective. He brought me back to the truest source of what I wanted to do, and like music has brought me back to the truest source of who I am and what I'm here for, which is for the glory of God. Like, that's pretty much it. And like, if you notice, like, my name Isah, it's like the Arabic version of Jesus.
I didn't know that's what it meant.
Yes. So it's like the Arabic version of Jesus. And I think from a young age, that gave me like a high level to aspire to, because I'm like, oh, this Jesus guy, how far? I find out what did they happen now. So yeah, like, and so that's been a process. And I think it's still a process, but now I'm more comfortable with the idea that this gift was given to me by a higher power, and I have to utilize this gift to give glory back to the higher power, and that's pretty much it.
Well, Isah, thank you. This is it. But before I let you go, Isah, 2 years. So you know how they calculate it? 2019, last album came out 2021. So 2023. Yeah. Are you working on anything? Or let me not ask you for a day, but are you working on anything? And what do you have coming up next?
Yeah, I've been back in the studio for like a few weeks now, and I'm excited. I'm really excited about what I'm doing. It's sounding like an evolution again. It's sounding
That's
like
good.
an evolution.
That was good.
There's definitely stuff coming out. I don't know what date. I can't give a date.
Yeah.
I can't give. But I'm working on a lot of music, so there's a chance that I could. There's a chance that like a lot of stuff is going to come out, like a lot of.
I believe that, because, bro, between 2019 2020, yeah, you put out like 3 different. Do you call them? Will you call them mixtapes? Or me, I almost call them albums because they have album vibes too. But you put out 3 albums within your 2 official albums, so no pressure at all. I was just excited for it, waiting for it. We will bump it, we'll listen to it, and as always, I'll talk to you about it. But Isah, thank you so much. Thank you for all the support you have given me, man. Like, bro, thank you. Like, I know that you're one person that once you go say, for how far, like, you never drop. Oh, okay, no, I'll just check it in. And you just always check on my headspace that, again, we're doing it for the right cause. We're not doing it for, as you say, sometimes you can get carried away, like, yo, I'm trying to, but then ensuring that the purpose of doing it gives praise
Yeah.
to gives praise to
Yeah,
God.
you always bring it back. And funny enough, I was looking at our message. I was looking, there was a period or something that I think you were like, okay, new episode of Waka now, like Waka So Far is coming out. I said Waka now. Waka So Far is coming out. And I was like, yo, bro, I'm gas. Like I've actually been waiting on
Yeah,
this.
you
And
were.
your response was actually, that's when I knew that, oh, the Speed's head is there. Like your head is in the right place. Your response was like, you had to make sure you're doing it for the right reason, and that, so that you don't get burnt out.
Yeah. I
And
was.
like it's so easy to do things, and these one of the biggest things I've actually gotten this year. It's like it's so easy to do things from a place of willpower.
Yeah.
Like it's so to be like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. But when you make that shift from doing things from a place of willpower to a place of grace,
Yeah.
then you've hacked a new level, like you've hacked a new dimension. And I think when I saw that your message, I was like, okay, that's where Spiff is at.
Yeah, I think I got to the point where, again, that willpower, and also, when you're trying, like, let me keep on putting out so that people know I'm here. But then at the point I realized that I'm not, maybe you're not talking to people that you want to genuinely talk to, or you have the connection with, you're just doing it so that, so I was like, okay, let's take a step back and let's just ensure that the main reason is the main reason. Like,
Wow.
it will hit somebody. Like, all it takes is one person to listen to it. And as far as, like, your music, as far as it impacts you in one way or another, I'm blessed. Like, I've done my bit. And by God's grace, again, from our lips to God's ear, obviously, I want it to progress. I want it to reach a wider audience, obviously. I want it to grow.
Yeah.
Or also, I was just like, let me try and be intentional and not just uh put stuff out, but then I'm just putting.
Yeah.
Just
That's actually mad. Like that you actually realize that, because it's so easy to want to put stuff out to make you feel like, to give yourself the gratification that you're doing something.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do. Like, but when you take a step back and you're like, because I'll say it's the same thing with music. I could have easily kept on putting I could have easily put out music last year, but I realized that, oh, I'm not supposed to put out music this year.
Yeah.
This is not God's plan for me this year. This is not God's will.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that has given me a different level of comfort and confidence in regards to what I'm making now. Now I feel like I'm making from a very, not saying I've not done that in the past, but right now I think a different level of pureness and authenticity and intention. And I'm so confident that whatever I'm doing next is going to do what it is supposed to do in the world. And it doesn't mean that, oh, I'm going to blow. That's not the goal anymore. It's not the goal is not to blow anymore. The goal is to
do my purpose, man.
Is to stay in the process, and to achieve the purpose. So and I feel like that's for God to figure out. It's not for me. Sorry, another interesting thing, one last thing. You had talked about, you had asked me what's a quote that keeps me grounded and in check. It's like, God minus me is still God. Yeah. For me minus God is, I don't even want to know the answer to that.
Baba, run down. No, Baba, please. Anywhere I am, let me just have God, man. Let me just
That's it,
God.
bro. Yeah.
Now, Isah, thank you. Isah, Isah, you have hit the nail on the head about man with us without God. Like, when not even enter church mode, but we're here because of God. Like, it changes your perspective on a lot of things, and again, nobody say I'm perfect. I'm still all men are sinners. I'm working on myself, but
Exactly.
it just changes your perspective. It's like it's bigger than me now. Do you get what I mean? Like it's bigger than myself. Is everything you are doing is in honor to God. Like let somebody see me and be like, what's that guy? What's his secret? And then I want to be able to say, I'm here. I am doing what I'm doing only because of the grace of God. If that makes sense.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. And there's no other way. There's no like I don't see any other way. Um I don't see any other way because I also like believe that even if you choose to identify as an atheist in this world, like that concept at this point is alien to me because for the fact that you wake up every single day, you're living according to some degree of faith.
You get.
Because if you're not going to work or if you're not trying to feed your family, yeah, like if you zero faith is actually suicide. I
Brother,
believe like if you're operating on zero faith, it's actually suicide. So anybody that says like they're atheists, like I I choose to not believe it at this point, or I choose to believe like okay, they don't really understand what they're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah,
because bro, as you said, to go to sleep for 7 hours, 8 hours in the night, anything can happen. Like,
yeah,
and then you wake up and you have life, and then bro, it is a blessing. Like
yes,
a blessing. And there are some things that happen that you know that God is real. Like there are some things in life that when it happens, it's just like this can only be God. Like by myself, this thing cannot, it should not happen. Like, or I never saw some certain things in life like happen to me. And then when it happens, you're like, man, one day I prayed to God about this thing, and
yeah, yeah,
now low key, like play, maybe 10 years down the line, I'm living in what I had prayed for. And just one day I said, God, I beg, man, I would love to do this thing one day. Oh. And then 10 years down the line, you see yourself doing something and you're like, oh my God,
yeah.
God, you hear
God,
us. So,
God is real. God is real, man.
God
God is
is real. God is real. Isa,
yeah,
thank you. Just wanted to say, love you. Proud of what you're doing, man. You're doing amazing stuff. And I'm going to continue giving you the flowers. And by the way, I always feel like a scam before I let you go. When I send people purple hats, every time I send anybody like a purple hat, I literally think of you because I'm like, this guy made this stuff so popular in my like on my brain. Every time I send someone like a purple hat, I feel like it's plagiarism, like I'm stealing from this guy.
nah, bro. Thanks, bro. I appreciate you and I love you as well. Cause, bro, it's not easy to take yourself out of your own life and pay
Yeah,
attention to what somebody else is doing, and that's a form of honor. And bro, like I honor you as well, and I fully believe that this Waka So Far is everything you envision it to be. It's going to be everything you envision
amen,
it to be.
amen,
Like,
amen,
like,
amen,
and it will happen in no time. It will happen in no
amen,
time.
amen. Amen. Isa, please, I've called your number. Isa, we're going to stay in touch more. Well, have a blessed day and thank you. Thank you very much, my brother.
All right, my bro. Nice
Take
one.
care.